What's going on? It's your boy Ricardo. I look a bit different today, but I'm here at Spa. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and unsubscribe from Gamer Muscle. That's my main message.
Welcome back to the channel, and you heard Steve. Now today we have a little bit of Gran Turismo 7. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I've done, for the first time, my first daily races in GT7. We're going to do daily race B with the WRX in this wonderful livery, and the thing about today is that I was kind of expecting the results that we've got today. First race, I'm not really strong at the start, getting overtaken automatically by A. Miguel 66. Already at T1, he overtakes very easily into this area of Mercedes. Looking to the timetables, we can see something really interesting. This isn't really relevant now, it will be relevant later on. My objective lately in Gran Turismo 7 is getting back into it. I've played a lot of Gran Turismo Sport in the past. Gran Turismo 7 is something that kind of eluded me because I wanted the PlayStation 5. Now, on these dailies, I wanted to have a little bit of fun getting into the groove of Gran Turismo 7 and see what it is all about. And even in the beginning, we can see that it's all about being very aggressive in track. With aggressiveness, I am able to take a couple of positions. Now my objective is to get in front into Hyperlemon and Fresco, but also pay a bit of attention to what is behind, in this case Tino's. Pay attention also to Tino's because the race is going to be very good because of him. Going into the chicane, and I've been having a lot of trouble doing the chicane here, the GP1. I've been losing a lot of time not having the perfect way in or the way out. Tino's wasn't able to have the best of lines also because he was trying to attack, and now we're trying to get closer to Hyperlemon and Fresco, and they're just inching closer. Going on the main straight, we can see that things are kind of huge commotion, a crash into the wall, and a car going all the way into the wall on the left side. In this case, it's Kimi-Velocini. I'm able to overtake him, and in the front we can see there's like 4 cars battling for position, in this case battling for 3rd position. We're trying our best to get closer as we can here in Mercedes Arena. The 5th position has half a second of a penalty, and we actually do a very good line outside of Mercedes Arena, so we're getting inching closer to RTR. Race B, we're having the sprint version of Nürburgring, and it works really well with the GT4 cars. I think it's really perfect. So we're getting close to RTR barrier. We do all of these corners correctly, trying to get a little bit closer, so what we do is overtake him with no problem whatsoever into the back straight. So we go side by side. He's going to get the penalty, and we overtake him with no problem whatsoever. And now we're going into 6th position. So we have the main group in front, and just behind we have Tino's trying to do the overtake. He's doing some pressure, and he lifts just a little bit in order not to crash. Very clean of him, and it's something that it's going to be seen from him from all of the race, but it's not something that we're going to see on other races with other drivers. Going out of Coca-Cola Curve, the last corner, we are going basically to be 3 going into T1. Tino's has a better exit, so he's just slightly ahead. I'm going to try to cut him over on T1, trying to brake a little bit earlier, and I really can't. He keeps the inside for Mercedes Arena. Our lines cross a little bit. I give a little bit of bunt to Tino's to try to keep the inside for this next corner. He goes just a little bit wide, but he's still able to keep side by side. We go side by side outside of Mercedes Arena. He just inches ahead. Very respectful from him. He tries to defend on the inside. Going into the sprint corner, he is able to maintain with such class this defensive action. For him though, at RTL corner, he's going to cut it a little bit too much, even though I lose a little bit. He's going to get 1 second penalty. In here at Warsteiner corner, he goes a little bit too wide. He also loses a bit of speed out of it, but because he did the cut just in top of the RTL corner, he's only going to serve it on the next lap. But I'm not gonna try to wait until he serves the penalty. He goes wide into the chicane. I try to get the inside. He gives me the inside, so we're going side by side into Coca-Cola. enough space for both of us, but same amount of speed. I inching a little bit ahead, and he's still behind, trying to get the outside for T1. He's really close. Basically a sprint until T1 is in a very comfortable position to give me some trouble, but sadly now we can see that behind we have this Gran Turismo moment. Somebody bumps me, and there's now a lot of commotion, but still Tinos is able to keep his position, but Casper is just behind for the killing, and also 0129. Fail Race is into the mix as well, and we're now trying to get into Fresco 321, see if we can get a position or two, but as you can see, a huge gaggle just behind us. A lot of commotion in chat, and sadly there's not a lot to report on this race, so we're going to go directly to the second, starting 12th, and I'm so sorry if the quality looks different. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to record it from the console or through OBS. Let me know in the comments what you think. This is console recording, OBS recording. It was the last clip. Going on to T1, and I'm going to get directly a penalty. Apparently I cut 3 pixels too much on T1, and I'll get a penalty over that. Now of course the pack in the start is really tight, and we already have somebody in the wall. So going into the backstretch for the sprint area, we have a lot of cars already here. Unfortunately for me, I'll have a 1 second penalty, and I won't be able to catch up these guys for a little bit. But as I do have pace to contest the positions and overtake some of these drivers, going into Warsteiner corner, into the back straight, sadly we're gonna lose here. Now a lot of position stopping, and 1 second penalty, and we're gonna see Fail Race just blitz through us like it was nothing, and he's going to get really close in the chicane to the next pack. Zooming ahead into T1, we can see another driver coming out of the grass. In this case is Real Racing. Keep attention to it, pay attention to Real Racing. As we can see now on the next corner, he's going to move under braking. As I move in, I bump him in the back, he slides a little bit, and now outside of Mercedes Arena, when we should be throttling up, he applies the brakes just a little bit in the straight line. That means he gets a little boost and I get a penalty, or rather I lose a little bit of speed. So not very sportsmanship of Real Racing, and then that's something that is going to be apparent in this race. Sadly we are overtaken by VTEC, and now at RTL corner we do get a penalty of 1 second because we get it a little bit too much, and we were getting into the pack. It was just in front of us. We have pace for this. Fortunately we're only going to serve this on the next lap, and there's a little bit of a commotion as Hyper Lemon gets a little bit too slow. I try to go side by side into the chicane with VTEC. On the exit though, he pushes me a little bit too much. That means I'm going to lose that position, and also the position against CSR Hito. Kind of sad, as we do have a lot of pace to keep up with these guys. We can see this big gaggle of people. Kieran goes a little bit too wide and then has a moment. We're trying to keep up with Real Racing, which also has a penalty, sadly just a 0.5 of a second. A penalty going into T1. There's a movement on the inside. I just smallly bumped CR Sarito. I get passed by 2 guys on a dive bomb, and then Kieran comes back in, as well as David VR2. I'm able to keep the inside for Mercedes Arena, so I defend my position. Fail Race has a moment. I also have a moment to go a little bit on the outside. He's able to keep ahead, and I try to get as best of exit as I can as everything starts to heat up for this race. Basically time to serve the penalty now. Lose a lot of my momentum, getting overtaken by Casper and David VR2. However, now everything will start to unravel and become really funny. Going into the chicane, we can see once again Real Racing over there. We get the position back, yellow flag, gaggle in the front, a lot of cars swerving left and right, and we are inching closer. There's going to be a huge gaggle into T1. The editing, we get into light speed, so we can avoid this part and go directly into T1, where everything starts to unravel. Go a little bit wide, but we can see ahead we have 4 abreast into the Mercedes Arena part. I'm able to overtake David VR2, try to get the inside of S2K. VTech, as I'm seeing a lot of commotion in front of me, my objective is to stay alive, going as wide as possible to avoid everybody, but here at Mercedes exit, once again, I'm getting pushed and bumped by Real Racing. Really solid, clean driving by this driver. Going outside of the sprint corner, once again, Real Racing trying to do one of his wonderful moves. He hits the brakes on the exit, but completely misses me, fortunately. However, at Warsteiner corner, everything goes a little bit bad, as I don't have the best exits, so that means my straight line speed is compromised into the chicane. This is especially obvious because just before the kink, I'm going to be overtaken by a Casper, and now into the chicane. I take the chicane slightly better than he does, so he makes a little bit of an error on the entry. I get a much better exit, so I'm positioning myself into the overtake just before the main straight, positioning myself and now getting pushed by Real Racing. So that's basically the third or fourth time that Real Racing does something, let's say, not proper, not good level racing, just something really shoddy. Now I'm trying to get that position from him going into T1. I hit my braking point, he cuts in, and once again he brakes in the corner like he stops it. Going into Mercedes, does it again, he gets a boost, I don't get the boost, and this is drivers want to do this stuff, well, you can't really do much, but now things get interesting. Casper gets the inside, Real Racing doesn't like that, so he hits me 3 times and then spins. I tell you, if you try to play by the rules, sometimes you'll get better racing in a better situation, but my race is going to basically end here as I'm gonna get overtaken and I can't do anything else for the next laps. The race was somewhat run-of-the-mill Gran Turismo 7 ramming. The next one is kind of interesting because it gets one of the most infamous drivers in Gran Turismo 7 into the fray. Jump ahead to lap 2, it's where everything starts to have a little bit of commotion here at Mercedes Arena. We can see over there Kimi-Velocini on the back of the pack. I wonder what happened to him. We do get a lot of compact racing just in the front, trying to keep up as much as I can with the guys in front. I'm able to keep with Kimi for a little bit going into the sprint corner, where I do get a good exit with the commotion just in front of him. But now I make a small mistake, which is give him the inside, and basically he just bumps me out, so I have to get once again back in. Going into Warsteiner, get a little bit of a side push. We're going to go on a sprint into the chicane, but Miguel 66 has a better exit than I do, and I can't really do anything about it. Now on the chicane, I'm not going to attack him because I really want to get into the group in front, and I'm also getting side pressed by another guy that decides to do a wonderful dive bomb, in this case Ham Hot. It's not the first time that it did it to me, and I'm going to be overtaken by Mad Murdoch 14 as well, because I lose a lot of speed. Even with that, not losing any hope, I think I have the pace to get in front. This is just, you know, a small problem that I have during this race. And then again, I'm just here for the memes, just like Jessica with the Powerpuff Girls livery, going into the bump, into the dive bomb, into T1, gets the inside really well. Just a little bit of push to Mad Murdoch, and we are able to get to the guys in front much faster than I expected. A lot of commotion once again in Mercedes Arena. It's basically prime real estate for that. There's always a lot of problems going into the last corner as well. We try to keep up. I lose a lot of speed out of Mercedes Arena. What we want right now is going just before the chicane, when everything starts to become interesting again. We have a group of cars in the front trying to overtake each other. In the chicane, Mad Murdoch goes on the inside. Tinos tries to stay in position, he goes in faster. Mad Murdock loses a lot of speed, and because of it, I'm able to overtake him. Now, there's a moment from Tinos, I'm not sure if it's lag or something, that it goes wide, so I'm leaving him a lot of space so we can get in. I'm also going on the inside to defend my position, but going into T1, it's where things start to unravel, and as expected, because a certain person is there, there's basically a fight. There's like this street fight in the middle of the road. I really don't understand this. This like bees with honey or something like that. 4 abreast into turn 3. I go on the inside, overtaking the Powerpuff Girls. I'm going a little bit wider on Mercedes. Kimi-Velocini pushes the guy out, goes to the right, and then now cuts in over, and there's like a huge crash. Now I'm going to get into my soapbox and talk about all of these situations. It's kind of interesting how the worst issues that I got in these races were with Kimi. Kimi enjoys this infamy he has on his livery that he is a toxic driver or whatever, because, you know, content creators call him so. In reality, dirty drivers tend to be intelligent. They know how to overextend line, they know how to make you suffer for your space, they are aggressive. However, what we are seeing here is something completely different, because he doesn't know how to drive with people around. He just pushes people around, not because he is dirty, it's because he is a really weak driver. And all of these other drivers that might be, you know, ramming you side by side, they'll improve. Kimi doesn't, which means he is basically on the limits of his skill. He cannot do anything else besides this. Drivers naturally evolve as they race. Some of the kinks get ironed out and they get faster, but they improve. In this case, we have all the hallmarks of somebody that doesn't know how to drive for shit. So guys, instead of calling him dirty, just, you know, point and laugh. And that's basically it. However, in terms of content, in terms of racing that I've done, I had a lot of fun on stream. Even though with all of this, we had pretty good races even on race B. So if you like this video, if you like this type of content, press like and consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching as I go into the grass and lose my position.